Thanks for tuning into Q Reads. I'm Liz Wuerffel and I teach digital media art at Valpo. I'm the kind of reader who likes to read one book at a time, but I thought since I'm here staying at home, I might as well expand myself and try to read two at a time. So I'm reading one during the day when I take a few breaks, and then, as usual, one at night. I just finished two really good books that you should check out. My daytime book is a gift from a dear friend, Bob, who's also a union electrician. He gave me the book called Living and Dying on the Factory Floor by David Roney. David Roney is a professor turned factory worker. When he gave up his job in academia, moved to Chicago, and started volunteering at a pro bono legal clinic called the Workers' Rights Center. He needed to make some money, so he applied for a factory job and landed a job in the south side of Chicago. And over the course of 7 years, he worked across Southside Chicago and in Northwest Indiana at various factories, large and small. I mean, these factories are loud, dangerous, and in some cases, very smelly places. If you want a glimpse into what factory life was like in the late 70s and early 80s, or if you want to understand how best to mobilize workers around issues of safety, or maybe you want to understand what race relations might have been like on the factory floor, this is a great book to read. My nighttime read is The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. Erdrich is hands down one of my favorite authors, and I highly recommend any of her novels. She's the daughter of a Chippewa Indian mother and a German-American father and lives in Minnesota. Many of her novels are based around that area, and they often follow themes of identity, culture, community in and off the reservation. Our own history sets the stage for The Night Watchman. In the 1950s, Congress called for the termination of federal aid, support, and protection for many tribes across the United States. This included termination of land trusts, and in many cases, forced relocation. Quick aside, the Trump administration is actually bringing back these 1950-era termination policies and aiming it right now at the Wampanoag tribe of Massachusetts. I mean right now as in right now in the middle of this pandemic. The Night Watchman is set in the 50s and centers on the attempted termination of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa, North Dakota. Good plot and well-rounded characters often makes for a good read, but of course, Erdrich goes well beyond this. The plot isn't what drives the story. In many ways, it's that we gain entrance into the fabric of the community. We see the complex relationships and the power of land and home. That's what makes it a compelling story, much like many of other Erdrich's novels. That and her love of language. I mean, sometimes I wish I could just put up a hammock in the middle of one of her paragraphs and stay there a while. Okay, before I go, one final recommendation. I have a short pile of books that's going to come in really handy if the quarantine lasts longer than we expected. If you need some DIY haircut advice, just let me know.